Hi, welcome to vlog number 26.
Introduce yourself.
I'm Rob.
And I'm Pippa. Or Pip.
Or Pip. So this the next one. Very quick introduction. So those of you who've been
Make it quick.
I will if you would stop talking. Those of you who've been following us will know that our last vlog took us from the end of the Bridgewater Canal along the Leeds and Liverpool down to the Stanley Locks, ironically the vlog before that was our week that we spent doing the canal link down into Liverpool and our time there. So as promised, we're now giving you the vlog that tracks the rest of the Leeds and Liverpool
Basically,
Canal.
this is the rest of the Leeds and Liverpool Canal that we haven't already shown you.
From Wigan to Leeds. So Pip's now going to share a few statistics about the Leeds and Liverpool Canal, which she'll read because her brain's quite small, so she can't remember them.
So the Leeds and Liverpool, we have done the entire stretch. Youpee! 127.25 miles in total. We did it all with our very good friends now, Mark and Catherine, and Dexter and Stan, can't forget them, and their boat 00. Between us, we did 14 sets of staircase locks, which are a bit of a challenge, plus 93 locks, and we climbed 487 feet above sea level to the top of the Pennines, over the top and down the other side.
Indeed.
And now I'm going to have a lie down after all that.
So enjoy vlog number 26 and we'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.
Bye. We leave our mooring in Wigan and set off to tackle the 21 locks of the Wigan Flight. We were really lucky to make good friends in Catherine and Mark on the boat 00. During our time in Liverpool, we realised that they were going to do the same route as us, so we buddied up all the way to Leeds and shared the workload. We've become really good friends over that 127 miles.
And we lost count with the amount of times we threw sticks for Stan and Dexter.
The climb went relatively smoothly. We were lucky to get through because only recently a stolen car had to be removed from lock 69. The volunteer lockies were also a great help.
We took turns on the way up, giving each other a chance to do driving or setting the locks.
When the locks are close together and straight in front of you, believe it or not, it's easier to leave and enter the locks in tandem. In the village of Church, we find the exact halfway point of the Leeds and Liverpool Canal. The mile marker is surrounded by an art installation designed by local schoolchildren in 2006. At this point, we are exactly 63 5/8 miles from both Leeds and Liverpool.
Here's the moment we cross that line.
The Fourth Leeds and Liverpool Canal Act in 1794 saw the route change to include the town of Burnley. The route takes the canal across both the Calder and Bruen Valley. The Burnley embankment was built between 1796 and 1801 and was designed to avoid the need for locks on both sides of the valley. It's 3/4 of a mile in length, even though it's also known as the Straight Mile, and it took 350,000 cubic yards of earth in its building. A lot of the earth used came from the building of the Gano Tunnel that we saw earlier. It's only when you're crossing it that you realise what a tremendous feat of engineering this was. The Barrowford Reservoir is one of the smaller reservoirs supplying water to the Leeds and Liverpool Canal. It still holds, however, 265 million litres of water. The Fulbridge Tunnel is just under a mile in length. Entrance is controlled by traffic lights. The tunnel was built between 1792 and 1796, and the earth here was too unstable for the usual method of dropping shafts and tunnelling sideways. Instead, for most of the tunnel, the cut and cover method was used, where in essence a cutting was taken right through the hillside, a tunnel was built, and then the earth put back into place.
The tunnel became really famous in 1912 when this cow accidentally fell in. Rather than trying to climb out, it swam the entire length of the tunnel. It did recover from its ordeal, but only after it was revived with a little brandy.
At Salterforth, the canal takes a sharp right turn. When barges were pulled by horses, this corner would have presented a real challenge. As the horse turned the corner ahead of the barge, it would naturally pull it towards the towpath. These rollers were installed to stop that happening. This diagram shows how the system would work. Not many of these rollers have survived, so this is a really rare sight. At Bank Newton locks, we see this very unusual paddle mechanism. They are operated by lifting this long wooden arm. This image of a drained pound demonstrates what then happens. The rectangular paddle on the other end of the board uncovers the sluice gate. They are very difficult to move and are not very popular with most boaters. The Silver Propeller Challenge is a CRT initiative to encourage boaters to go up underused waterways. The Springs branch in Skipton is one of those waterways, and here we see Mark and Catherine reversing out, having ticked it off their list. The Leeds and Liverpool Canal is unique in having 14 sets of staircase locks along its length, the most famous of which is this one, the Bingley Five. The rise of 60 feet in just 320 feet makes it the steepest lock staircase in the country. Because working these locks is so complicated, there is always a lockkeeper on hand to help you down. The locks are a Grade 1 listed structure, and as such, despite the mechanisms being quite tough, they can't be changed.
Salterforth is an estate village that owes its existence to the utopian dream of Sir Titus Salt, a wealthy Victorian mill owner. He was so appalled by the working and living conditions of his workers in Bradford that he decided to build the ideal industrial settlement here at Salterforth. It was built in 1850 on the banks of the canal and the River Aire, hence the name Salterforth. He provided a high standard of housing, but no pub, as he was an opponent of strong drink. Little has changed since then, except for the addition of a pub.
And of course a park named after me.
Here at Newlay Locks we met Mia and her adorable monkey Otis, and she loved helping us with the locks. Well, we've just had a very interesting, terrifying experience in the last staircase lock. We were in a staircase of 3. Do you remember which one it was?
It was the middle of 3 Forge Locks.
Forge Locks, and I was at the tiller and Rob, and we were in with the double O, Mark and Catherine, and Mark was at the tiller and I was at the tiller, and Catherine and some family members and Rob were all there manning the lock gates, you know, the paddles, and we were in the middle, and all of a sudden I noticed that the boat was leaning massively, and it turns out that actually I was on the bottom. Both Mark and I were completely grounded.
So what had happened is the paddle had been left open on the very bottom lock. So the water that was running out of the second lock wasn't just filling the first lock as it should have been, which it was just going and disappearing. Hence it over-emptied effectively and caused the grounding.
So much shouting at the people at the top and instruction to close the paddles and open the top paddles and put some water in. And unfortunately they did that a little too aggressively and opened the paddles, and the back of the boat was completely engulfed in water, and Mark's boat shot forward massively, and it was just all very frightening.
Can't get the stuff.
And the noise of the water gushing behind us was absolutely deafening, and I couldn't hear what was going on. So it was not an experience I ever wish to repeat again.
So we're approaching the next staircase locks in a second. So
guess who's going out to do the paddles this time?
yeah,
Anyway, there we are, and that's our tale of woe, but we're all alright in the end.
we are.
No damage, thank God. Okay, push.